My work is also related to the same thing that other colleagues were presenting here. So this is power asymmetry in the upstream of the rice value chain in India. And this study was supported by ICDD. So we started this in 2019. And the very initial work was presented in Summer School, Harare in the same year. So this is just extension of the same thing with two case studies that I am going to discuss. So basically the structure of this presentation is I am going to first talk about the theoretical background of this presentation, this paper. Then two questions that we are trying to find answers, and then the case studies finding from the fields. So basically when we talk about this agricultural value chain or agricultural value system, that is the sequence of connection of various production processes, that is from cultivation to consumer. And in the whole process there are several production processes, actors, and various types of connections. So in most of the studies that we find on agricultural value chain, they consider that the whole process is actually a linear process where one after finishing product at the level of farming, then it is going to some other process, then it is moving forward. But there is a possibility that the farming can be performed in a different ways, or there would be different factors that affects farming, output of the farming. Small farmer would have different kind of preferences, different kind of processes, etc. So that whole thing makes each production process heterogeneous. And because of that, there is a possibility of different kinds of linkages, and that is why it is not a linear chain kind of thing, but it is very non-linear kind of value system where different actors add value to the product. So, as far as power asymmetry is concerned, we are focusing on two types of power asymmetry. One is within the farming community, and one is between different production processes. So as far as within farming community is concerned, power asymmetry is generally linked with the factor endowments, and in most of the case this factor is land. So if you own small plot of land, then your linkages with output market, that would be different from if you are a larger producer or something. So basically there are various studies. Professor Krishna Bhardwaj, Amit Bhavri, they have written extensively on this. So why small farmers are in a compulsive involvement with output markets. There is another study that suggests small farmers are facing a kind of commerce that is called forced commerce. So that is a compulsive kind of arrangement where exploitation is maximum possible of the farmers. But there is another way of understanding power asymmetry in the agricultural value chain, that is between different production processes. As we know that agricultural value chain is not just agriculture, but there are certain segments which are agricultural and there are certain segments which are non-agriculture. So when we are talking about a system of value generation, these all kinds of production process interacts with each other with their inherited natures. So that is what I am going to talk. So agricultural value systems can be, and the disclaimer that I am going to give just now, this power asymmetry thing is very big. So I am just talking about one thing. It may be wrong, but I am just trying from one perspective. I am just putting that perspective in front of you. So basically, agricultural value system can be considered as a different circuit, different production process, linkages of different production process, and each production process can be considered as a circuit of capital. So basically, agricultural value system or any kind of value system is connection of these production processes, these circuits of capital. So if we consider the first circuit that represents agriculture, then M1, C1 and M1 prime would reflect that. So basically M1 money is invested in agriculture to buy C1 commodity, and after cultivation from output M1 prime is realized. So basically the surplus would be M1 prime minus M1. Then M1 becomes one of the major component of M2, that is the price given by second sector to the first sector, and that is how it is connected with each other. So basically, surplus in agricultural value system can be considered like this. So in the first circuit of capital, we have M1 money is invested over C1 commodity, then C1 prime commodity is produced. We are showing paddy and we are getting rice. So basically, C1 prime is realized, and from market we are realizing some certain money for that. So basically, this the surplus that represents here is S1, the surplus generated in the farming segment, the first segment of the agriculture value system. But the surplus realized would be M1 prime minus M, and it is possible that what is surplus generated is not equal to surplus realized. And if surplus realized is lower than the surplus generated, then we can claim that there is a transfer of surplus generated in agriculture or sector 1 to other sectors, and that is what we are going to see in front of in terms of empirical findings. So there is it is not necessary that the surplus realized would be equal to surplus generated, and that is also consistent with some arguments by Paul Suzy and Samir Amin and David Yaffe. So there are two important reasons why surplus in agriculture would be lower than other sectors. So one quote is from 1960, this theory of surplus value, volume 2. Absolute surplus value is generated in industry so long as normal working day is not regulated by force of law. A second reason for a smaller amount of surplus value being created in agriculture is long period during which product remains in process of production without any labor being extended on it. Because the understanding is surplus is coming from labor force, and if there is a limitation on putting labor force in agriculture, so there is also limitation on surplus generation. And that is completely different from the industry, because in industry you can increase the number of labor and increase the output, and hence you can increase the surplus. But that is, there is natural limitation to this thing in case of agriculture. The other thing is, in case of agriculture, the price of agricultural products are demand determined, where it is in industrial output, it is cost determined. So, as I was saying initially, agricultural value system is interaction of agriculture and non-agriculture segments. So basically, this kind of nature of agriculture sector is also interacting with industrial nature of rice mill, for example, that I am going to present in front of you. And that is why there is a certain inherited limitation of agriculture, which also promotes the exploiters' transfer of surplus from agriculture to non-agriculture segment of the value system. So, because of the relative characteristics of agriculture with respect to other production process in agriculture value system, the M1 is matter of power and fluctuates according to demand side factors. So, what money would be given to farmers, that also depends upon the collective bargaining or power of the farmer vis-a-vis the other actors of the value system. So surplus realized in case of sector 2, that is in industry, non-agriculture segment of the agriculture value system, that would be equal to M2 prime minus M2, and here I am just trying to say that M2, this surplus is also not only dependent upon the exploitation of the working class in that particular sector, but it is also dependent upon M1 prime, that is the price given to farmer, and hence the surplus generated in a non-agricultural segment of the value system is also dependent upon the what amount it is providing to agriculture sector, and that is why the surplus, the total surplus with non-agriculture segment would also include certain amount of surplus generated in agriculture segment. So the main question that this paper, given this theoretical backdrop, what we are trying to address is what are the central features of power asymmetry in the rice value chains, And the two, what are the impacts of cultivation of high value product on power asymmetry? Generally, it is considered that if farmers are encouraged to produce high value product, then they will also get higher return and they will somehow challenge the power asymmetry and they will increase their power, bargaining power, etc. So this is one finding from this NSS data, the primary work that we did. So if you will see, most of the farmers are dependent upon local private traders. Some of them are close to 26% are dependent upon mandi to sell their output. This is for paddy farmers. And if you will move towards the decreasing land size, then the dependence upon local private trader are increasing. And why I am talking about this too, because we will realize later on that the price given by local private trader is quite lower than what they are getting in the formal market of mandi. And that is why it becomes quite important. The government intervention can be considered from the perspective of the public agencies, that is buying paddy from farmers. For all India, it is just 14%. So this is according to land size group, what price that farmers are getting. So I have taken a price, Indian currency, that is 13.10. It was the MSP, minimum support price, for that particular year. And what price was actually received by farmers in different categories. So if you will see, most of the farmers, Indian farmers, received price less than or equal to MSP, close to 83%. And if you will move towards lowering, decreasing size of the land, marginal farmers 85%, small farmers 84%, semi-medium 76%, medium 72%, and large 64%. So access to better price is actually higher, and that is what we were talking initially when we were talking about the power asymmetry within the agriculture segment. So if you have higher ownership of the land, then that also enhances your power position to garner more return from the market. This is within across the agriculture value system. Basically, now we are talking about the interaction of agriculture and non-agriculture segment. So the cost of production for these 4 years that we have taken here is written here. I am just providing the summary so that we get the clear picture. And in the first day, on the first day, Professor Patnaik was talking about over the period of time there is a squeeze of peasantry in India, and that is very much clear from this picture. If we assume that farmers are getting minimum support price decided by the government, then what is the impact over their earning? So we have a very clear picture. In 2013-14, their earning in terms of rupees per kg. Their earning rupees per kg was 0.75 in 2013-14. That was positive number. Very next year it increased to 0.40, minus 0.40, because they were making loss of 40 paisa. Very next year their loss increased to 1.22 INR, and it increased further 1.23 INR. And if you will see the middle cost that is going to the procurer and the rice mill owners, so that there is a rise, almost a very sharp rise, and that is quite higher than the same amount of paddy they are realizing higher return. So we also did a field survey to understand it in detail, and this is again a summary of that finding. So this blue part is the cost of production of paddy. The saffron part is share of farmer in total output, to total earning from mill gate price. Then grey is commission agent, and yellow is rice mill. So as you can see, the largest portion is input cost of production, 79% for non-basmati rice. And here we are talking about whether is there any possibility to increase the power position of farmers as the power in the value system through encouraging them to produce high value products. As we know, basmati is very internationally very garners a very high demand. So is there any change on that? So as we can see, the farmer share is increasing from 0.32% to 9%, but still that is lower than the share of rice mill and the input cost. So in case of Bihar, we realize that the share of farmers is actually in negative. That means they were making loss because of cultivation of non-basmati paddy. So from these two graphs, we just we try to make this argument that even if we encourage farmers to produce high value product, that is in this case of that is basmati, that will certainly help them to increase their income from same plot of land. But it is not possible to eliminate the power asymmetry, and that is what we were trying to say. So further, we studied in detail because most of the interaction of the farmers are actually and non-agriculture segment of agricultural value systems are happening at the level of market. So we tried to study Haryana as well, and the reason to include Haryana in our study was because we realized that because of intervention of the government sector in the output market, the bargaining power of farmers is larger in case of Punjab than Bihar. But there was another argument that it could be possible because of cultivation of basmati. So there would be impact of, it was suggested that there would be impact of cultivation of higher value product on the lower value product actually, and that is why the realization from non-agriculture, non-basmati rice would be higher as well because of that impact. So we try to compare these two states, Haryana and Punjab, because both of these states are actually producing a good amount of basmati variety. So, but later on we realized, and because of lack of time, we could not discuss it here, but that is in our paper, that if we compare these two market structures, then we find that government intervention is very much present in case of Punjab, whether it is very limited in case of Haryana, and that is why we also realize that for non-basmati rice, the reason is not basmati cultivation or the high value product cultivation. The impact is coming from the higher share of government agencies in the output market, and that is why they also realize higher output. So in conclusion, the land is one of the crucial defining features of the power asymmetry. The power position of cultivation segment of value chains is weaker than non-cultivation segment. Hence, the cultivation of high value products, better market infrastructure, etc. can help farmers to increase income, but these are not sufficient to negate the power asymmetry in the value chains. Thank you.